last weekend I got to play a house concert in Tampa and then in Fort Myers, and just get to kind of go out on the beach for a run but before the show and try to make the most out of it, because I know I'm very fortunate to be able to see a lot of the world, and I just want to kind of experience that. And I hear a lot of people say, well, I get to live vicariously through you. I see your life on Facebook or Instagram, and I'm like, well, you can go do it too. I mean, not everybody has the flexibility to travel and stuff. I get it with their work schedule, but, I just encourage people to get out and do what they love.
Well, the cheerleading in life, I love to see everybody accomplishing things. And you're right, it does reflect myself to see you're doing what you're doing. I'm trying. And that's what the artist, I see the creativity. And that's what I love about my show, to meet people like you and to talk about your lives. And, yes, we are blessed with your music and so many songs. I was reading how many songs have you written? You're amazing.
Oh,
and all those experiences come to that. And I got to mention Lake Tahoe. I went and saw The Who 3 years ago. I went to Lake Tahoe. I stayed in Reno, first time there, drove over Mount Rose back and forth, my buddies at Incline Village, and we saw The Who together at Harvey's. Wow, what a great place. And I went to Donner Pass, and I'm enthralled, like a history degree. I love that, the old stuff, and that's what I did. I was invited to go to clubs. I'm like, no, I'm going out to the desert or the mountain and rock my car as I'm there. So, yeah, that's so awesome that you live that and bring that to us in the music too. Bullets.
It's really fun because some of the experiences and the stories, that's like, obviously Key West has inspired some of my songs, but long before I was playing in Key West 8 years ago, I was touring in Fiji and Samoa and Australia and New Zealand. So I've always been drawn to the ocean, and I love being a part of the islands. And so that's infiltrated my music, as well as being from a small town in the Southeast and having my background, my upbringing, my faith. It's just kind of one big kaleidoscope of all the things that have, gotten me to where I am today.
I love that. I'll tell you what, let's play Bullets right now off of Bulletproof. Let's talk about the CD. I got 2 tunes I want to play, Bullets and Stand Up for Your Faith. Anything you want to add about that before I play Bullets?
Well, it's Stand Up for the Flag. And that's a huge honor for all the veterans that have served our country and all the military. I have such a huge heart for the military, and I'm just so grateful for all the people that have sacrificed it to give us the right to have these protests and to speak up for our beliefs and to be able to do that. And I just wanted to honor them. That's a tribute toward all the veterans and all the active duty military. And then Bullets, I was writing with my friend Megan Williams, and I was just telling her about personal relationship that I was in and the amount of silence that went on in a lot of the stress and the fights and the underlying animosity and the things. Sometimes you just have to throw it out on the table. And I felt like in that position, I really wanted to communicate that, like, you really need to just lay it out on the table before you can resolve anything. And that goes with any kind of relationship with two people. If you don't know what's wrong, you can't. And so this was kind of like an anthem and a plea to just say, bring it on. Like, I don't know what's wrong. I can't fix it. We need to, like, talk it out, whether it's scream it out or something. The healthiest way is to just at least get the elephant out, and to talk about it and to figure out what's wrong. Otherwise, you really aren't going to get anywhere, and there's no point in continuing that relationship.
Yeah, and Bulletproof is all about that. The other one was Nice to Caribbean Island, and Bullets, the new CD's got a little more hard edge to you. I know you got one tune, I think, is it The Bitch or something like that? I was trying to think, is it something like that? There's something.
Bad Bitch.
Bad, yeah, there is. I was going to say, I didn't think, but You're right. So I'm thinking, go Erica. She's getting a little naughty
and the thing is I think that a lot of people that just discovered me at Buried Treasure, it's so funny because a lot of people say, I love your music, it's so happy and upbeat. And I say, well, there's 7 other albums you haven't heard because there's a lot of heartbreak and there's a lot of triumph and tragedy and songs that I've written that had major deep meanings, but it got me to the point where at least, getting to this album, Buried Treasure, I wanted to keep it lighthearted in that summer feel-good theme. But getting back to real life, I mean, it's got the ups and downs. It's got the heartbreaks. It's got when I'm evacuating from a hurricane in Florida, seeing my friends going through floods in Houston and fires in California. I sat down that night when I got back to Georgia and wrote Hearts Still Beat After They Break, because so many tragedies and so many heartbreaks around the world, but just want to let people know no matter what you're going through, you'll get through it. You'll live, even though it feels like you're dying, even though it feels like it's the end of the world, which is a great message coming full circle after COVID for everybody that's lost their job and gone through tough times. But the whole theme of this album, I wanted it to be basically the fact that you can go through these hard times and you can come out, even though you might be scarred and damaged and hurt and bruised, you'll get through it alive, and you'll push through. And if you work hard and if you focus on the positive and just the gratitude and the gratefulness of what you do have instead of all the things we don't have, then that's how you, to me, can get through those tough situations, and whether it is a relationship or whatever you're going through. And that's why I wanted the message of changing the world and people to be grateful for the military we have, and people to be grateful for all the first world problems that we think are so tough. Groove at it is just a reminder of, like, hey, these aren't really that big of a deal. Like, if you just laugh it off, dance it off, and groove at it, then, we're going to get through it together. So I feel like this overall theme is, just hold on tight, push through. You're going to get stronger. If it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger is kind of the theme of this album. And I think with the last 12, 13 years on the road and all the heartbreak and the struggles that I've been through, I felt like I was bulletproof coming out of it.
Yeah, you're so right, because especially the relationship stuff, it seems like, oh, my God, looking back at those moments it's like, it is the end. But is it never? Never. And, the Cold-Ad is horrible, but it's also kind of a thought process. I had a lot of time to think about it, what is really important, and trying to always change and grow every day, as we are involving the world right now. And in a lot of ways, it's good, a lot of the turmoil, the changing, but there's a lot of reaching out, caring, and that's what we're going to have in the future, because it's only we're going to get through this. And I love the new music you have. So let's play that right now. Bullets. Also bulletproof. Thank you.
Whoa. You pour yourself a double, turn the TV on again. Two strangers in the same house, getting good at playing pretend. Your silence is killing me, it's written all over your face. You're loaded up 44, why don't you shoot it straight? 'Cause there's a whole lot to holding back from me. Storing words like ammunition, making me your enemy. So let the bullets fly, let the hammer go. Oh, ready, aim, fire. Watch the barrel slow. Whoa, ain't gonna run and hide. No, ain't gonna slow me down. Tear me to the bone, but I ain't gonna die. Just bring on another round and let the bullets fly. Throw a couple shots on back, if that's what it's gonna take. Lay it on the table, point out all of my mistakes. And this war we keep fighting never ends. Nobody can surrender if this battle don't begin. So let the bullets fly, let the hammer go. Oh, ready, aim, fire. Watch the barrel slow. Whoa, ain't gonna run and hide. No, ain't gonna slow me down. Tear me to the bone, but I ain't gonna die. So bring on another round and let the bullets fly. Let the bullets fly. Come on and do what you gotta do. Come on and say what you gotta say. I'd rather we go down in flames and watch us slip away. Come on and do what you gotta do. Come on.
You missed. Am I good? Thank you, Erica Sunshine Lee, coming back on the Magoo tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, that was a fun one to record, and it was just super edgy, and I love the guitars. I love the production turned out exactly the way I was hearing it in my head when I wrote it. So I love the grit, because that's a huge part of me. Starting out a classic rock band, I'm able to still, use my rock side. I'm not just like a timid country singer. I have such a love for classic rock, and that's kind of, I think, evolved and been an inspiration in my music through the years, which is actually the first song that I covered in 2004 with my classic rock band, when I started singing with John Lawton. He turned me on to Fleetwood Mac, and I just became obsessed, and I was hooked on that song Dreams. And so that's why I released it on my new album as the first cover song I've ever recorded and released. So that's a tribute to John, because he's no longer with us, and also Fleetwood Mac, who's inspired me greatly through the years.
Oh, what a great band. Oh, Fleetwood Mac, Rumors. I just heard that somewhere. It was on like the... Yeah, it was just, I think 38 weeks. It was like it was forever on the charts in 77. That was my time in high school. And timeless. Karen Lawrence was on my show, and she LA Jets at the time, and she recorded in the studio talking about that time that she couldn't go out because they were fighting in the hallway. Her band was staying at the place that they recorded at, and Sly Stone was there, and just the whole karma of the music, and then you're taking that as your influence, and Lindsey Buckingham, Stevie Nicks, and what a great, I love that influence in talking about. Tell us about some more of your great influence in that classic rock days, and I love the new show with the Bullets. It's really going to rock, and then you're going to have the little Caribbean side a little later, hey? Little both.
I'd say, I really love 90s country. I grew up listening to Shania Twain and Dixie Chicks, and I think the Sass and the Dina Carter and the Trisha Yearwoods, they were like powerful women that were really comfortable with themselves, and they strutted their stuff, but they were also they had dignity behind it. So it was really, I love the fact that they stood up for themselves and they told it like it was, and I love the Sass of Reba. I think that also the classic country like Loretta Lynn and Patsy Cline, and they're just timeless, and the nerve and the sass and the pizzazz of Dolly Parton. I mean, she's one of my all-time favorite heroes, just because, A, she's one of the best songwriters in the world. B, she has an amazing, unique voice, and C, her charisma and her heart. She's been so giving and just unbelievable, like charities after charities, and it's just all she's done for other people. So I think as far as heroes, Dolly Parton's got to be on up there with the top for me. But it's just overall bad bitches in the theme. I mean, I love male country singers. I love male rock singers. Anything from Led Zeppelin to Leonard Skinner to Rolling Stones, all the way from Hank Sr. to Hank Jr. and the 90s country. I mean, I've got so many influences. It's just like crazy. When you hear my music, I love Smashing Pumpkins, and I love, Foo Fighters and the 90s rock too. So I'm just not only into country music. And I think through the years, it's kind of kept me interested because of my ADD, that I love to be able to write different styles, because when I'm writing for their artists, they're not going to sing the same thing I would sing. So I love to be able to kind of put myself in their shoes and go, what's their style? What do they want to say? What's their voice? And for me, it's like, play and dress up. You get to kind of put yourself in a different character. And speaking of, that's why I wrote Bad Bitch, because when I was